The story of faith, love, and two sisters. Once upon a time, in a warm and colorful village, there lived a kind man Joe and a lovely woman named Faith. They didn't have a lot of money, but they had something very special: love. Everyone in the village smiled when they saw them walking hand in hand. People would whisper, "Look at them. Such a happy couple." Faith and her husband dreamed of having a baby, but for a long time, they couldn't. So Faith did something very kind. She adopted a little girl named Miriam. She loved her like her very own daughter. Then, one sunny day, Faith gave birth to a beautiful baby girl named Janet. Janet had the sweetest smile and the shiniest eyes. Whenever her mommy carried her through the village, everyone would stop and say, "Wow, what a beautiful baby." People gave her bananas, toys, and even sang songs for her. Sadly, when Janet was still small, her father got very sick and passed away. Faith was very sad, but she stayed strong. She worked hard every day to take care of Janet and Miriam all by herself. She made sure they had food to eat, clothes to wear, and warm hugs every night. As the girls grew older, things became a bit tricky. Janet and Miriam didn't always get along. Sometimes they argued or didn't want to share. Miriam felt a little jealous because people paid more attention to Janet. But deep in her heart, Miriam was a good girl too. She just didn't know how to say how she felt. As the years went by, Miriam and Janet grew older. They both helped their mother, Faith, by working in a small but busy restaurant in the village. It smelled like jollof rice and fried plantains every day. Yum. Janet would smile and serve food, and people always noticed her kindness and beauty. "She's so helpful," customers would say. Sometimes, people gave her extra tips or treats. That made Miriam feel a little upset. "Why does everyone like Janet more than me?" she thought, even though she worked very hard too. One sunny afternoon, a kind-looking man came into the restaurant. He wore shiny shoes and had glasses that made him look very smart. He ordered some pounded yam and a goosey soup, and when Janet brought it to him, he smiled and said, "Young lady, what's your name?" "Janet," she replied politely. "You're very smart and respectful," he said. "Tell me, why aren't you in school?" Janet looked down and said quietly, "My mom tries her best, but we don't have enough money for that." The man nodded and smiled kindly. "Well, how would you like to go back to school?" "I want to help you." Janet's eyes got wide. "Really? You want to send me to school?" "Yes," the man said. "I see something very special in you." Faith was so happy when she heard the news, she danced around the house. But Miriam, well, she felt a little left out. "Why not me?" she whispered to herself. But don't worry, this story is just beginning. Janet was full of smiles the day she got her letter. She had been accepted into a nursing school. Her mother hugged her tightly, tears of joy in her eyes, and Miriam, though quiet, gave her a warm smile. "Make us proud," she said. While Janet left for the big city, Miriam stayed back to help at the restaurant and take care of their mother. Life wasn't easy, but Miriam was strong and full of love. She had a kind heart, and even found someone special who wanted to marry her. In school, Janet was doing well at first. But soon she met a girl named Benedetta. Benedetta was flashy, she wore fancy clothes, had shiny phones, and always talked about traveling to faraway places. At first, Janet just listened. But slowly, Benedetta convinced her to start skipping classes, going to parties, and chasing after things that glittered. Janet began changing, she stopped calling home and lost her bright smile. Then one day, Benedetta told her they were going to Dubai for fun and money. But it wasn't a fun trip. They ended up doing bad things that made Janet feel empty and sad inside. Not long after, Janet got very sick with a virus. She couldn't hide it anymore. Her friends back at school saw how weak she had become and sent a message to her mother. When Faith arrived at the hospital with Miriam, their hearts broke. Janet lay on the bed, tired and quiet, with tears in her eyes. "I'm sorry, Mama. I didn't mean to go so far." Faith held her close, brushing her hair gently. "You're still my daughter. I love you, she whispered. Miriam stood beside them, crying softly, holding her sister's hand. Even though they used to argue, she didn't want to lose her. That day, Janet's light faded. The village mourned, and her story became a lesson told with love and sorrow. Hibiscus, but even in sadness, there was strength. Faith and Miriam stayed close, remembering Janet and honoring her memory. Miriam went on to build a happy life, always keeping her sister's story in her heart to remind others that love, family, and wise choices matter more than gold and glitter.